What up, y'all? It's Coach Vassar doing the audio daily beats. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen/dining room. We're going to go over Saturday, September 14th. This is also going to repeat on Sunday, September 29th. This is going to be a tread card day. You got power on the treads, strength on the rower, power on the weight floor. Do a little bit of a key concepts overview, a little bit more deep dive onto the first half, then second half. As always, any feedback, appreciate it. If you want to support me, buy me a coffee, information's down in the description. Venmo, PayPal, Cashapp, whichever works. You could DM me, group me as well, with any feedback or any criticisms. I appreciate it. It's how it helps me grow to be a better educator, as well as help process these templates for myself. So looking at the 2G, we got a tread card. We're gonna see the run row. We start with a 2-minute build to prime the body for the work ahead. During the run row, focus on customized recovery, taking as much time as you need to truly go all out. On the floor, 2 blocks, focusing on custom recovery as well. Work hard, rest as needed. Remember, call out was, this is a workout that is in the webinar, so definitely if you have not watched it, of course watch it. Yeah, so let's kind of divvy up into it. So treads, rowers, you got a 2-minute build, 30 seconds of each interval. You start just above base and then you finish at a 30-second all out. 90 seconds to kind of chill, recover before you eventually launch them into their meat and potatoes of the workout, where they got 20 minutes of tread and rower. Basic idea, there's 4 parts. And then from there, within the part, you'll have 2 rounds on the treads, 2 rounds on the rowers, then move to the next part. Every part, sections get shorter. If they make it all the way down to part 4, they complete that, then they have the choice of either tread or row until the finisher, which is of course a 30-second all out at whatever station they happen to be at. So you got your primer block to start, 2-minute build. The goal, of course, increase intensity every 30 seconds. They're gonna start right above a base push. So joggers and runners, every 30 seconds, can you increase speed? Add on 0.3 to 0.6 or more. Power walkers, increase incline. They give ranges and they say, for the base push, this should be anywhere between 1 to 8%. 30-second push, 8%. Push all out, 8 to 10. All out, 10% or greater. You could use those ranges, or as I mentioned in like a previous build workout, see if they could add 1 to 3% every round. And even though they don't call it out in the daily beat, power walkers could also increase speed. It's another way to increase the intensity to help build that lower body strength and endurance. All right, so when it comes to the run row, part 1, longest part, they got 2 attempts of a 1-minute all out on the treadmill, and then a 20-stroke all out row, and then rest as long as they need before they repeat. So 1 minute all out on the tread, walk recovery as long as they need, repeat that 1 minute all out, and then they go to the rower, 20-stroke all out row, rack their handle, rest. When they're ready, tap new interval, hit it again, match or beat their distance. Then they'll move to part 2. All out will be 45 seconds, and the row will be 15 strokes. Same thing, 2 rounds, 2 rounds. Part 3, 30 seconds, 10 strokes, 2 rounds, 2 rounds. And then part 4, 15 and 5. And then, like I said, the bonus, you got that tread or row until we call time. Now, some of the call outs here, treadmills, obviously 1 minute all out. They could use the primer block as a baseline of, hey, what'd you do for those 30 seconds? Could you stay, very close to that, knowing that you could walk as much as you want afterwards. With a power day like this, starting out, work to rest should be somewhat equal, give or take a little bit of a swing. So people that do a true 1 minute all out, they'll probably need about 1 minute to 90 seconds to truly recover to be able to match that. If they don't need a minute, then probably could have increased the intensity for the 1 minute all out. members that have OTB, obviously a 1 minute all out, definitely they're gonna tap into that orange. They might even see some red, and they could use that OTB as a guide for their recovery. So take it to that walk, wait for that heart rate to come back down, and ideally maybe back down to blue. That way they could for sure match on the all outs. If they notice heart rate drops very quickly, I mean, obviously that's a good thing. Recovery is optimal for them. Their heart is well conditioned. So that's it. Off my conversation now with people of like, hey, if your heart's dropping very quickly, that's a good thing. You're ready to get back to work, or you have a bigger capacity to work at a higher level to really tax the system. And one of the things I get a lot, especially from older people, is they feel like they just can't run any faster. So that's an opportunity for joggers and runners to maybe throw on some incline to increase intensity as well, because they're gonna have to move their feet faster. It's gonna help improve their mechanics as well, since they're gonna have to work on a lot more knee drive and upper body engagement with the arm pump, better torso positioning as well. So lots of ways to kind of set members up for success. With the 20 stroke all out row, even though it's an all out effort, it's also distance based. So they're trying to collect as much distance. So with this being a strength focus, somehow emphasize it's more about the all out leg drive rather than stroke rate. So 20 stroke all out, hopefully they stay around 20 to 24 strokes per minute, which means they're gonna row for about 45 seconds to a minute. So it's gonna be very similar to the treadmill. When they finish, they should hopefully need around the same amount of time before they go again. This is one where every stroke should build on the previous one, where the watts will increase until eventually kind of levels out at that true all-out feeling, and then they're just trying to maintain the wattage for the the back half of that stroke challenge. They recommend anywhere from 160 to 240 plus meters. Most people definitely 10 meters a stroke, so 200 plus would be relatively a good place to get to. You could use water as a guide as well. So have members, wait for the water to stop moving before they go into their second round. For most people, that's going to take about 20 to 30 seconds, especially because they're not going to really notice their time on the OTB TV. And obviously, if they finish their 20 strokes, they'll probably glance at their distance, but they won't really glance at the time. So they won't be able to track their recovery unless they notice that. So using the water as a guide is great, because at the very least, they're going to take about 20 to 30 seconds to rest before they go again. Same thing as the treadmills though. Maybe they could use a heart rate response. If their heart rate monitor is working well for them on the row, obviously they'll tap into that orange by the last 5 strokes or so. Rack their handles, sit there, catch their breath. They could unstrap their feet, wait for that heart to drop back down, low green, maybe blue, and they take off again. When they head back to the treads, shorter all out, customizable walk recovery. So ideally, the goal here is, of course, increase intensities in the next part. So with a 45 all out, faster speed, higher incline, 15 stroke row. With less strokes, they are going to cover less distance, but hopefully their wattage will increase, knowing that they have 5 less to do. If they're still around 20 to 24 strokes, this is going to take probably around 35 to 45 seconds to complete. Just like before, 2 rounds there, and then eventually 30 seconds and 10 strokes. When we get to part 3, this is where I feel truly, if people are doing a real 30-second all-out, recovery may be similar in duration to the beginning, so they might take a full minute to rest to maximize their potential on being able to hold that all out. If members, once again, are still taking equal amounts, they could probably increase the all outs. And then same thing, 10 strokes. I mean, this is going to be, I'd say 25 to 30 seconds to complete. Making every stroke count, be explosive, drive back hard, be a little bit patient on that return. Another way to kind of think about it is, they're trying to drive back slow to load up like a spring, and then when they get there, they're letting that spring go and it shoots back. I've heard coaches use the analogy of like you're moving through peanut butter on the way forward, but then you're moving through the water on the way back. So really sluggish as you return, and then smooth and fast on the way back. 10 strokes, 150-ish would probably be ideal, knowing that there is going to be that carryover. Finally, part 4, 15 all out, and then a 5 strokes, 2 of each. This is one where 15 seconds, like by the time the tread gets up to speed or gets up to incline, they're already about 5 to 6 seconds in. So they're only really doing that top speed for about 8 to 10 seconds at most. One way to challenge people is like, hey, don't start those 15 seconds until you get to speed, until you get to that 10% incline. But that's something that you're gonna have to talk to those members who, they're walking at 3, and then they try to hit that 12, and then, it takes the 5 seconds, and they're like, yeah, I did that for 15 seconds, but really it was only 10. Have them hit that 12, wait for the belt to start speeding up, then go for the 15. It's up to you. I would do that, especially with the members that I have like really good rapport with. If they are truly testing themselves, be like, hey, time doesn't start until you're at that speed. Makes it kind of fun. 5-stroke all-out row, like literally grip it, rip it. It's over before you even begin. Knowing how much time they have on the treads and the rowers and the adjustable walk recoveries for 20 minutes, definitely get through part 3 for sure. Part 4 depends how much time people have used for those walk recoveries or not. Same with the rest after the rowing. Depends how much time they took, and as well as they move between the stations. Just keep in mind, if you restart your stopwatch at 19:30, you are counting them down into a 30-second all-out. So when they're about 19 minutes in, give them that heads up, like, hey, in 30 seconds you got an all-out. Head to the station you want to be at, or if they're going to be at that station, just stay there, obviously. Now we look at the weight floor. We got a power day here, 2 blocks, 11 minutes each. The focus here is going to be load and explode, work and rest. So obviously power here, you're going to do a dumbbell exercise into a explosive body weight movement, explosive or body weight. So as we look at it, block 1, you have reverse lunge to a full step up knee raise and bench lateral hopovers, close grip chest press, and explosive tempo push-up to the alternating high side plank. Block 2, you got the sumo deadlift to sumo squat combo, followed by squat jacks with alternating floor tap, and then the split stance single arm low row with your hand on the bench, and an alternating low row with an explosive tempo from that hip hinged position. Finisher is a choice of any of the power movements for 30 seconds apiece. As far as setups go, they're recommending, a full setup for the reverse lunge, step up knee raise, and the lateral hop over. Partial setup for the closed grip chest press and the push up to side plank. Options, you could do body weight for the first movement, and then instead of lateral hop overs, you could do lateral step overs. Closed grip chest press, you could do straps. And then for the push-up, you could do from the knees. You could do it also from the bench. Instead of that rotational high side plank, maybe have people do push-up to like a shoulder tap, so they're still working on stability but no rotation. Number 2, block 2, sumo deadlift, sumo squat. You could just break them up, have them do just the deadlift, just the squat. Squat jacks, they could do without the floor tap. They could also do step-out squats. For that split stance low row with the hand on the bench, take the hand off the bench, they have the forearm on their thigh. And for that alternating low row, they could do a single arm explosive tempo low row on the strap. Now the work to rest here is once again customizable like the treads. So after each movement, they are taking some recovery. Knowing that for the load, I would recommend moderate to heavy weight. For the reverse lunge to full step up to knee raise, they'll be facing to the benches, obviously. They'll take, right foot goes back for the reverse lunge, right foot will go up onto the bench, left foot comes up, there's their step up, and then as they are bringing that left foot up, left knee comes up, left foot down, right foot comes back. And that'll be 1 rep. They'll do 8 on one side, 8 on the other. So a lot of quad, glutes, stability work involved. And then they go into their lateral hop over. And so for that one, the hands are not on the bench. They'll be upright, 1 foot on the bench, 1 foot on the floor. They'll jump explosively. Key thing for this one for power output, try to emphasize opening the hips at the top. All too often you'll have people try to stay low and just move the feet, but try to get that hip extension at the top. No different if they were trying to do jump squats. If they are doing the non-impact version and they do step overs, try to be explosive on the way up, slow on the way down, to keep that load and explode rhetoric going on. They'll complete that for 2 rounds before they eventually go to upper body work. Close grip chest press, think, slow tempo, 2 down, 2 up, really trying to load up shoulders, triceps, chest. And then for that explosive push up to side plank, we're looking for 2 counts down and then 1 count explosively up, and then they rotate, there's 1, on the next rep, do the other side. If they go down to their knees for the push up, definitely have them pop up off their knees before they go into that rotation to make it more comfortable. And same thing, like I said, you could do shoulder taps. That way they are still working on shoulder stability, but they're not rotating it open if that's a concern. When we look at the block 2, sumo deadlift to sumo squat, they're gonna be holding the dumbbell down by the waist, grab it by the handle so it helps increase range of motion. And then they go right into the squat jacks with floor tap. One of the things for this one, people are concerned more about the tap to the floor, so you'll see people lean over rather than drop their hips. So if you have people who got really tight hips, have them emphasize the squat jack itself more so than the floor tap. So lower those hips down, feet go out, hips go down quick, and then explode back up. They'll do 2 rounds there, and then for the low row, 1 hand on the bench, 2 counts up, 2 counts down. One cue that I like to use is think about wrist to your hip pocket. So as you're doing the row, rather than pulling the weight up, we want to think about trying to drive it back so wrist comes to the hip pocket so they really fire off the rhomboids there. And also that way they don't increase bicep usage by pulling the weight up, and they are trying to drag through the upper back. For the alternate and low row, they'll start with both arms straight, do one side quick, slow on the way down, other side quick, slow on the way down. And that is from that hinged position. Lower back issues, you could go onto the strap. If that one arm is a little unstable, they could do both arms quick and then slow on the way down. 2 rounds there, and then of course their finisher, any of the power movements. Knowing that there's gonna be a lot of explosiveness on the floor, we should see pretty high heart rate, so that's a good way to also bring awareness to OTB on the floor of, hey, if you feel out of breath, good, look at your heart rate, let it come back down as your recovery, and then when you feel recovered, hopefully your heart rate's back down to mid-green if you're in the orange, and you get back to work for your next round. That's a 2G. 3G, 14.5 minutes on the treads, rowers, and on the weight floor, having 2 blocks there, but treads and rowers have 1 block, and it is completely self-paced. It's essentially the 2G, but just at each station. So on the treads, you'll have a 1 minute push buy-in, and then a 1 minute all out, walk as long as you need, 1 minute all out. Part 2, 45, walk, 45, walk. Part 3, 30, walk, 30, walk. Part 4, 15, walk, 15, walk. And then tread until the finisher, 30-second all out. So you'll obviously count them down into that first push as their only minute of a primer. Power walkers, 6% or greater. Joggers, runners, start about 1.5 over base. Bikes and striders, 3-4 gears over their base, 60 RPMs or more. And then when they hit that all out, full send, walk as long as they need, repeat just the all outs. Very simple for the treads. This is gonna be one where everyone's gonna be moving at different times, since some people are gonna take more recovery than others. Totally good for that. And then the rower, we're gonna see the 2 rows. So 20 stroke all out, rest until you're ready, 20 stroke all out, and then you got 2 med ball exercises. So once they've completed 2 rounds in each part, they'll have a alternating forward lunge with the med ball at the chest. You could do reverse lunges as an option. And then the single leg rainbow. So med ball starts at one side, comes up, there's 1, back, there's 2, you have 10 on one leg, 10 on the other. Those med ball movements stay the same through all 4 parts, and you'll complete that after you've done your row twice. So row, rest, med ball, and now you move to part 2. Just like before, you work your way all the way down until eventually it's just a 5-stroke all-out row twice. Do your med ball exercises, done with the med balls, row until the finisher. There you go, nice and simple for that one. On the floor, you have 2 blocks here. Block 1 is gonna be 4 minutes, and it is the upper body work from block 1, so closed grip chest press, and the push-up to alternate in high side plank. And then block 2, which is gonna be 9 minutes, and there's also a 90-second transition time to get them set up. You'll see the deadlift to squat combo with the squat jack, and then the low row and explosive tempo low row. So for this one, obviously they are dropping the reverse lunge, step up knee raise, and the lateral hopovers. But otherwise, everything's pretty much the same in the 3G. This is one where coaching, not a lot of on-mic coaching since you're not timing any intervals or anything like that, but definitely keep people accountable either by, using the follow the leader example. So when you notice, someone who is taking a little bit quicker recoveries and they're moving through the sections a little bit faster, just kind of hold everyone accountable. Be like, all right, you guys are probably starting on your next part with this 45 all out. Joggers and runners, could you add, 0.1 to 0.3, knowing that you don't have to go as far or as long? Power walkers, could you hold the same incline and maybe increase your walk speed? On the bikes and striders, maybe try to hold 3 to 5 RPMs on average higher to generate more watts. Because there's going to be a point where they can no longer add gear safely, so it's going to be more about increasing the wattage by increasing RPM. And then same thing with the rowers. This is one where with the all-out row, people tend to maximize stroke rate rather than maximize leg drive, and they don't let the water work for them. So let the water work. Let them drive back hard, take their time. 20 to 24 strokes per minute is going to be that sweet spot. And get some orange there. That's it. You guys have a great one. And coach it all down.